Something big is happening, and Chargers fans, you're going to want to hear this. The energy around this upcoming game is electric, not just because of the matchup, but because of a bold new look and major lineup updates that could shape everything. Buckle up, because this is not your usual week in the NFL. Before we dive into the latest news, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button, and don't forget to press the bell icon so you never miss an update. Now, let's move on to the big story. The Chargers are officially set to debut their all-gold uniforms this Sunday. No blue accents. No blue socks. Just straight golden fire from head to toe. And honestly, they look a lot cleaner than most expected. It's the Colts versus the Bolts, and this showdown has everything you'd want from a primetime battle in the AFC. The Chargers may be limping into this game with a long list of injuries, but make no mistake, they're not out of it. The Colts have been rolling with serious momentum, but the Bolts are fighting to turn the tide. And speaking of fighting through, that injury list is no joke. Let's start with the guys who didn't practice this week. Bradley Bozeman is dealing with an illness, and that's opened up some talk about whether Andre James could get the start at center. A lot of fans have been waiting to see how that might play out on game day. Linebacker Troy Dye has also been missing from practice. He's been a rock-solid piece for this team, filling in when needed. But there's a bright spot here. Denzel Perryman is back to full practice. His return could be huge in helping slow down Jonathan Taylor, who's been a real problem for defenses this season. And it doesn't end there. Elijah Molden is also out right now with a thumb injury. The Chargers are deep at safety, but with Gilman gone, every healthy body counts. The Bolts have a steep hill to climb, but this team has surprised people before. Don't blink, because this could get interesting real fast. Stay with me, we've got more updates coming your way. Trey Pipkin still isn't practicing, and honestly, that's a real concern. The offensive line is already hanging by a thread, and protecting Justin Herbert gets tougher every single week. Thankfully, there's a little bit of good news. Jamari Salyer has been logging limited practices. If he's ready to suit up, it could ease some of the chaos up front. Because let's be real, without him, the line has been a patchwork mess. We saw that last week, shifting pieces around, trying to plug holes, and it wasn't pretty. On the brighter side, there's a name that's getting fans excited, Khalil Mack. His 21-day activation window has opened, and while it might still be a little early, just seeing him back on the practice field is a huge sign of hope. He's been pushing hard, and even said he feels ready. But it's ultimately in the hands of the trainers. And here's another boost. Joe Alt is slowly working his way back into limited practices too. Realistically, both Mack and Alt might be more likely to return next week, but there's still a small chance we could see them sooner. And even one of them back would be massive. Quentin Johnston is easing back in as well, which could give this offense more life. Linebacker Daiyan Henley is dealing with a groin issue, and Darius Davis, who's been out for weeks, is also working toward a return. And let's be honest, the return game just hasn't felt the same without him. Now flipping over to the Colts side, their injury list isn't empty either. Wide receiver Josh Downs is still in concussion protocol, which makes him a big question mark. Ashton Dulin and Tyler Goodson haven't been practicing. And at the bottom of their list, Grover Stewart and Trevarius Ward. Some of those absences may just be rest days. But the name to really watch here is Kenny Moore. He's been limited with an Achilles issue. And here's why that matters, he's easily their best defensive back right now. If he can't go, it opens the door for the Chargers to attack through the air and create big plays. That was a long list, but every single name matters heading into this game. Depth, health, and timing could be the deciding factors. Stay with me, because now we're moving into the real heart of this matchup. I'll be honest with you, when those gold jerseys first dropped, I wasn't impressed at all. The early concepts didn't hit for me. I thought, man, this just isn't it. But everything changed the moment I actually saw it in person. Once I had that jersey in my hands, it felt different. The color popped. The details stood out. And when I finally put it on, I understood the hype. It's got that clean, bold look that hits way better in real life than it ever did online. And credit where it's due, the Chargers marketing team went all in. That throwback 60s vibe on the site and the app, it feels like stepping into a classic era of football. It's not just a uniform, it's a statement. This week already has that Charger power energy running through it, and it's setting the stage for something special. But beyond the look, this game carries serious weight. The Chargers have been hanging near the top of the AFC since Week 3, taking down division rivals and keeping their spot alive. And right now, they're neck and neck with the Broncos at 4-2, holding the edge thanks to more division wins and a head-to-head victory. Meanwhile, the Broncos face the Giants this week, a game they're expected to win. So for the Chargers, this matchup isn't just another Sunday. It's about staying ahead in the AFC West. But it gets bigger. Whoever wins between the Chargers and Colts controls the top of the AFC. If the Bolts win, they can leapfrog into that number 1 spot. If they lose, the Colts keep their grip. It's as simple as that. This is a high-stakes battle with real playoff implications. And maybe, just maybe, those golden jerseys will bring a little golden luck along the way. Stay with me, because the real fight starts here. There's a little bit of history attached to Chargers jerseys, and fans know it well. Remember those midnight navy uniforms? Sharp design, bold look, but they got stuck with a reputation no team wants: bad luck. The Bolts just couldn't win in them. Over time, that image stuck. That's why these new gold jerseys carry more than just fresh colors. They carry a chance to rewrite that narrative. And in a game like this, that kind of energy matters. But let's be real, this isn't going to be a walk in the park. On paper, the Chargers might get some predictions in their favor, but the Colts have the upper hand in a few key areas. This is where missing pieces start to hurt. Khalil Mack might return, and that would be a huge boost. Joe Alt? That's a tougher call, chances are low. And that's been the story lately. Ever since Alt went down in that Giants game, it's felt like the Chargers have been trying to hold things together with one arm tied behind their back. Injuries on the offensive line, depth stretched thin, and constant reshuffling have been the headline every week. Yes, they managed to grind out a win against Miami, holding on long enough for Justin Herbert to create magic and Kamani Vidal to punch through. But this week is different. The Colts are no joke against the run, and that changes everything. The bright spot? Adaf Oa looked explosive off the edge last week. Sure, he needs to tighten up against the run, but his pressure was real. And if Jamari Salyer returns at tackle, that's a noticeable step up from the patchwork the line's been forced to use. Still, this is the heart of the challenge: can the Chargers match a Colts team that's firing on all cylinders, even without key players? Because the Colts have been hot. 5 wins in their last 6 games. The highest scoring offense in the league, averaging over 32 points per game. That's dangerous. But here's the small crack of light: they've put up those numbers mostly against soft defenses. Arizona, Vegas, Miami. Only 2 of their opponents, Denver and the Rams, actually rank as strong defensive units. So yes, their stats are big, but the true test may still be ahead of them. The Chargers have a chance here. It won't be easy. But games like this are where underdogs rise. Stay with me, the real chess match is just getting started. This team has already had some close calls. They nearly dropped that game against the Broncos, came down to the wire. And then they actually lost to the Rams right here at SoFi Stadium. So maybe, just maybe, the Chargers can keep that streak going and hand the Colts another SoFi loss this season. But let's be real, it won't be easy. The Colts already proved they can beat a strong Broncos defense. The Rams barely got by them too. And now, they're walking into another tough test. This Chargers defense is no joke. Maybe not the absolute best they'll face this year, but definitely near the top. And that gives me a little hope. We're not talking about a weak defense here like the Dolphins, Cardinals, or Raiders. The Chargers' defense has been strong, especially against the pass. That's their big strength in 2025. Guys like Derwin James, leading the way as always, Elijah Molden, Tony Jefferson still making plays, and R.J. Mickens stepping up big. Even the corners have surprised people. Tar Heap's still's been solid. Cam Hart's had some rough moments, sure, but then there's Benjamin St. Just, a quiet but incredible pickup this offseason. A lot of fans probably didn't expect much from him, but if you look at his numbers, he's been one of the top coverage DBs this year. Not a massive snap count, but when he's out there, he's locking guys down. Because of this secondary, the Chargers are holding teams to under 180 passing yards per game. That's top tier. And that's huge going into this matchup against Daniel Jones. Now let's talk about Jones for a second. He's having a shockingly strong year with Indianapolis. Kind of like when Geno Smith revived his career in Seattle, or Baker Mayfield did in Tampa. Every year there's that one QB who turns it all around, and this season it's Daniel Jones. But if there's one defense built to slow him down through the air, it's the Chargers. Still, there's one big concern, the run defense. And honestly, it's been rough lately. Corey Krosky-Merritt ran wild. Devin Achane had a big day too. And now, here comes Jonathan Taylor, one of the best backs in football, averaging over 100 yards a game. That's a serious problem if the Chargers don't tighten things up in the trenches. This game is going to come down to one thing, the defense. If they can contain the run and force Daniel Jones to beat them through the air, they've got a real shot at pulling this off. Jonathan Taylor has been on fire this season, 7 touchdowns already. He's been a nightmare for defenses, and honestly, the Chargers might be next in line if they don't fix what's been breaking them lately. Let's be real here, setting the edge has been a disaster. Over the last 2 games, the Chargers gave up 3 touchdowns on the same exact play, a simple outside zone run to the left. That's it. 1 play. 3 scores. Tully's been beat on it, Oa got caught on it too, and opponents have noticed. If you're game planning against the Chargers and you've got Jonathan Taylor in your backfield, you'd run that same play again and again, especially near the goal line. They tried to fix it last week against Miami. Even moved Derwin out wide to try and plug that edge. But it didn't work. No matter what they did, the run kept breaking loose. If they don't solve that problem fast, it's going to be a long night against one of the league's best backs. And what makes it worse? The Colts' offensive line is stacked. Raymond, Nelson, Bordellini, that left side is a wall. One of the best units the Chargers will face all season. Even their right side is solid. When you compare that to what the Chargers are working with up front, it's not pretty. That means guys like Khalil Mack, Tully, and Oa have to step up big. Especially on that right side, because running at the left side of Indy's line is like trying to run through a brick wall. The Chargers' pass rush has gotten a little boost since Oa came in, and they'll need every ounce of it this week. The DBs are great at capitalizing when the QB is under pressure, but that only works if the front 7 gives them something to work with. And just when you think that's tough enough, the Colts' defense is no walk in the park either. They've allowed just 19 points per game this season. Yes, they've faced some weaker teams like Miami, the Raiders, and the Cardinals, but still, that's no small number. This game is going to be won in the trenches. If the Chargers can't hold the edge, if they can't win at the line of scrimmage, Jonathan Taylor might control the entire night. That 19-point average might sound a little dramatic, because I do think the Chargers can put up more than that. But here's the reality, the Colts' defense is legit. Their pass rush has been sharp, their front is tough, and outside of one weak spot, they've been solid across the board. And that one weak spot? Their secondary. That's where the Chargers have their best shot. With Justin Herbert under center and a growing set of weapons, guys like Aronda Gadsden stepping up, this passing attack can be dangerous if it gets time to breathe. The Colts' defensive backs haven't graded well outside of Kenny Moore, who's been excellent. But even that comes with a question mark. His health is uncertain, and if he can't go, that weakness gets even bigger. Of course, the Colts aren't blind to this. They know their secondary isn't perfect, so you can bet they'll bring the heat, blitz after blitz, trying to collapse the pocket fast and make Herbert rush his throws. And with the Chargers' offensive line banged up, that's a real concern. No Joe Alt, no Rashawn Slater, it's been the same story the last few weeks. The one silver lining is what we saw against Miami. The pass rush wasn't elite, but the Chargers managed to keep things steady. But Indy is a different test. They've got Kwity coming off the edge. They've got Latu making noise. This is a stronger unit, and the O-line has to step up. Whether it's Andre James or Bradley Bozeman at center, the protection needs to hold, just long enough for Herbert to find his playmakers. Even if the pass blocking only improves a little, James could give them a big boost in run blocking. That could make a real difference. This game might come down to seconds, just enough time for Herbert to hit Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnston if he's back, Gadsden, or Kamani Vidal in the flat. There are weapons. They just need a pocket to work with. So here's where I land, this one feels like a nail-biter. My prediction, Chargers 23, Colts 24. A 1-point game. And look, that's not me counting the Chargers out. Far from it. This is one of those games that can swing with just a couple of key plays, a blocked blitz, a turnover, a big third down stop. If the offensive line can hold, and the defense can find a crack in that Colts front, they have every shot to steal this one. The margins are razor thin. But that's what makes it exciting. One small push in the right direction, and the Chargers can flip the script.